Hello and greetings, and welcome to another episode of Soul Talk, where we talk STAR Citizen with members of the community. I'm your host, Fastcard. This is my lovely co-host, Griffin Gaming RPG. How are you doing?
I'm lovely now?
Yep.
Handsome is the word. Good looking. I don't know if I'm digging lovely so much. That's kind of scared me.
But you're my sweetie. We established this during the decoupled episode.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I heard you had a birthday yesterday.
No. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was. Yeah, today's the 30th.
You don't even know yourself.
I can't even keep track anymore. It's not that serious, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Birthday was on yesterday. Yeah. That was it.
How was it?
It was good. I'm still doing some personal things with family that, I had to take care of. So most of my day kind of was filled with that. And, but in the evening, my daughters had told me that they wanted to take me out to dinner. So I was able to go to a place here in the city that is known for seafood. So I had a couple of lobster tails and a filet mignon. So that was
dinner.
that was about the best that it made the day. It was good just to be able to do that and chill out. It was a nice evening. It was in the 70s and quiet and kind of brought a calm to the rest of my very busy day. So, that's it. I'm not big on doing much for birthdays, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've been watching some, not CW, well, some CW superheroes, mostly The Flash, and I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League yesterday.
Ah, okay. What'd you think?
It's better than the original.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody says that. I've heard mixed feelings about it. Some people like it a lot. Some people say it's long, but it's worth it, and some people feel like it's a little bit too much, but it was still good. So
it was, and it was good. I like it better than I think out of all the Zack Snyder superhero stuff that he's done so, well, not counting 300, but I think this is maybe my favorite so far that he's done.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. What else? You been watching anything else? Oh, wait a minute. I gave you some news the other day, and you told me that you were feeling kind of funny about a series that's being brought back to TV.
Yes, Babylon 5. Well, here's the thing. Babylon 5 hit me at a very good time in my life. I just started college, and it was a anchor in my life. So I'm kind of nervous about them bringing it back because they said they want to do it like Battlestar Galactica or what's the other show? The other show that maybe like not a rebranding, but make it updated like Battlestar Galactica, and that kind of make me nervous because the original Babylon 5 was, except for the first season and last season, the three middle seasons were great. Some of the best television I've ever watched.
Okay, and I've always heard you say that, and I've heard other people say, oh my God, Babylon 5 was so good. Now, unlike Battlestar Galactica, though, people did believe that when they rebooted it, it was better than the 1970s version of Battlestar Galactica. So, I mean, are you kind of hoping that they just kind of leave it the way it? Well, I mean, obviously it's going to be a little bit more up to date. I get that, but do you think they should just kind of go with what they did before, or are you nervous that they might try to change it too much, like they did in the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, that maybe it'll change it too much? Is that
honestly,
what you're kind of worried about?
It just depends on what they change, because I mean, Babylon 5 had soul. So no pun intended. But I just hope that anything they change does change the soul and essence of Babylon 5. Like the new Star Trek movies doesn't feel like Star Trek to me. Maybe I'm not the first person to share that opinion, but that's how I feel about the new Star Trek movie. The new Star Wars movies doesn't feel like Star Wars to me.
Okay. So, I get it.
But Rogue One felt like Star Wars.
Yeah, one of the few. Yeah, I get you. I'll be honest with you. I had completely forgotten. I was more DS9 person. I started Babylon 5 when it got started, but I slowly started leaving it and went more towards Star Trek because I'm a bigger Star Trek fan. Right. But I had forgotten about the controversy of, the story of whether or not Star Trek DS9 stole from Babylon 5. Because there was some, I'm just saying there was, I've forgotten that was an issue back then, that was one of the subjects that had come up about it. So I
think the creator, J. Michael Straczynski, went to Paramount first when he was pitching the show. and they said, no, we got
He did.
a station based show coming up in LR.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the first 3 or 4 seasons of DS9, and then like the next season after that, you could tell that they picked up some cues from Babylon 5. Because I mean, no joke, Babylon 5 was better than DS9 for like the first 3 or 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember in the beginning I was kind of watching Babylon 5 a lot, and I don't know why
you have to
lost
get
me.
the first season. The first season is not great, I admit, but you have to get through it to enjoy the rest of it. Because the first season built up the story wise to make you enjoy the rest of the show.
Okay. All right.
So are you ready, Griffin?
No, not yet, because I still want to talk about some more stuff. Are you just trying to rush me today? You said we got a short show. I'm trying to talk, and you're trying to rush me. All right. No, the other thing is, I know last week Kai Zen came on, and he mentioned about Foundation, and part of my birthday thing was that I was going to try to go out and have dinner, and then come home in the evening and watch Foundation. But unfortunately, after eating such a great meal, you didn't feel like watching too much of nothing. So I didn't get to watch it yet. But are you familiar with Foundation at all, the story, or have you ever? Are you interested in seeing the series that's out?
I'm interested in seeing series, but I don't have Apple. That's on Apple TV, right?
Yeah, it's on Apple TV.
Yeah, I don't have Apple TV, so that's going to be next year. But
okay,
I am interested.
Are you familiar with the story at all?
I read some Asimov as a kid, like when I was between 10 and 12, but I barely remember it. It's been 30 years, so yes, I'm familiar with it, but I've forgotten what I read.
Fair enough. I only remember it because it was the first series that I watched, and it was through that, and it always stuck with me. I was, I got into some other things like iRobot and some other stuff later, but that particular series, I mean, to this day, even I think just a couple of years ago, I ended up getting the what do you call it, the Audible version of it to listen to the whole thing again. Because I always thought it was a very epic science fiction story. I know there may be this may be blasphemy for some people, but even more than Dune, I've always liked Foundation even better. Even though I am looking forward to the Doom reboot as well that's coming out. Both of those are the two things I've been looking forward to coming out this year. But I am hopefully within the next week going to get some nice time to sit down and watch it, because everybody says, and here Ray Mars just saying it now, Foundation is so amazing. Is what he's saying. So I can't wait to check it out. I can't wait to see it.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'll see what I can do about checking it out. I don't have Apple TV, so
yeah, but I'm sure we'll there'll be some way. Okay, if you want me to bring folks in, I
got my thing to do.
You got something to do? Oh yeah, let me hurry and bring them down now. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, go ahead. Let's fire away. I'm braced for this one. Go ahead.
Oh my. It all began with the forging of the origin ships. 3 were given to Dark Knight 75, the wisest and fairest. 7 were given to Jade Starwasher, the brilliant and crafty. And 9 origin ships were gifted to Griffin Gaming RPG, who above all else desires luxury and comfort. For within these ships was bound the strength and will to live without word. But they were all of them deceived, for another ship was made. In the system of Tamsa, near the gravity well of a black hole, the Dark Lord Colossal forged in secret a master ship to control all of it. And into this ship he poured all his cruelty, his malice, and his will. One ship to rule them all, the Origin 890 jump. One by one, the systems of the UE felt the power of the 890. But there were some who resisted. Last Alliance marched against the armies of Tamsa. They fought for the freedom of the UE, and the Dark Lord, enemy of the UE, was defeated. Victory was achieved, but the power of the 890 could not be undone. And something that should not have been forgotten was lost. History became legend. Legend became myth. The 890 passed out of all knowledge. Rumor grew of a shadow in the central planet, whisper of a nameless fear, and the ship of luxury perceived. Its time had not come. But then something happened that the 890 did not intend. It was bombed by the most unlikely pilot imaginable. A botanical grower, love machine. For the time will soon come when the botanicals will save the fortunes of all.
You got me completely on that one. I don't even have the slightest clue. I was looking for somebody in chat to bust out and tell me what it was. Lulo.
You know who it is.
What is
you
that?
know who it is. You know what it is.
No, I don't. What is it?
Replace origin ship with ring.
Ring ships. I don't know
Dark
what that
Knight
is.
75 got it. What are the wings?
I don't remember any of that.
That's the first line Galadriel the narration was.
Oh my God, you got me good on that one. Well, to be honest with you, I hate to say this. As much as I love the movies and everything and read the book, I have only watched that series one time, and it was when it came out in the theaters. I've never watched it again. So me getting to be an old guy, I'm becoming forgetful.
3-4 times. I have the extended edition, so that's like 6 hours or 12 hours of my life I have to dedicate every time I want to watch it. So.
I've got them sitting here on Blu-ray, and I have, in fact, they're sitting here in plastic in Blu-ray. I've never even opened them up, which is terrible, you know. But no, you got me on that one.
Someday.
Yeah, maybe. But no, you definitely got me on that one. That one was outside of my memory banks this time.
You want to drag people down?
Yeah, we'll bring them in.
There we go.
All righty. Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening, birthday buddy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We've got Admiral Kusanagi. We've got Fist to Face, GoMap ATL, Pops in Space, and Spitfire Phoenix. How are you guys doing tonight?
Typhoon.
All right.
Oh, Typhoon. I'm saying, God, I can't even read. You see me squinting looking at the screen. Spitfire Typhoon.
Do we sing happy birthday?
No, please don't.
No.
Please don't. Please don't. Please. Let's end September on a good note.
Who's going to sing the Stevie Word?
No.
Who's going to sing the Stevie Wonder version?
That's the idea.
What
about the Marilyn Monroe version?
I will listen. I have the power. I have the power to mute this sucker. You know what I mean? No.
Shut it down.
It's okay. I'll do the Marilyn Monroe version after the show, after dark.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
Anyway, so we have the sneak peek from last week up, and it says a shepherd must tend his flock in a time fight off the wolves. And I believe that's one of the Aries. I can't tell it's the light Aries, so that's the Ion, correct?
Yeah, I think it's the Ion.
Yeah.
So any thoughts? I mean, we talked about the Aries before.
I'm gonna save mine. I'll let the guests talk before I give you my 2 cents.
Repeat your question, not you, bro.
Oh, I'm gonna say we talk about the Aries pretty much not fairly in depth, but quite a bit for the past few weeks. I know Fist to Face and Pop in Face are getting one. I have one already. But what about the rest of you?
I have both.
Yeah. I figured this was a pretty heavy Aries crowd.
Hey, it looks as long as a freelancer, maybe.
Oh, it's bigger than a freelancer. I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's bigger than a freelancer.
Like lengthwise, not side, but it's probably bigger side. But
it's constellation size. Seriously?
I don't think it's Connie size. I think it's like
size, somewhere in between.
Yeah. Freelancer.
Oh, I was getting ready to say, like, whoa.
It seems like it's about as long as the MSR. Looks like it's
I don't think so. I think it's actually smaller than MSR is.
I hope so.
Well, we can look up the numbers for it.
Someone look it up on the shipback. I mean, I could do it, but I'm trying to manage
I got
stuff.
I'll look at. Well, here's the question, guy. What's so special about that photo? Because we all know what it is, but why that particular photo?
What, you think it's Pyro?
Oh,
that's
Pyro.
It finally hit you. It finally hit you.
Okay, good.
I'm looking at the way the lighting is.
It finally hit you. Finally hit you.
That's what I said last week or the other week, and I said this kind of looks like Pyro, especially since it's that color star.
Oh, okay, and the caption fighting off the wolves. So I get it. Pyro is a yeah.
Now, hold on. Let me just think about this. Let me throw this out there. I just thought of this. Okay, what do you think about maybe? And this could be reading too much into it, but like protect a transport missions.
Yeah. Well, that's what he says. A shepherd tends to his flock. to fight.
No,
It
I
has like a
know.
what,
I
size
I
5 or
get
size
that.
7 gun on it, right?
Yeah. So
I don't know how much. I
escort.
mean, that's for shooting big ships.
Yeah,
But I don't think it's gonna be a dogfighter.
yeah, it's definitely not gonna be a dogfighter.
Yeah, not a dog.
They made it clear it's not going to be a dogfighter because they said they're going to offset the ship's power by its speed, and that it's going to be a beast to fly. So,
Yeah, I think that-
and it's considered a cap killer. So
I think a
Right,
Gladius would
okay.
probably tear that thing up.
Which is actually pretty interesting, especially which if you want me to wait on this, it's something they said today in today's ISC.
Yep, save it for the ISC.
Yep.
Yeah, I will comment. I will put myself on record and saying I do not agree with that approach of making it a beast to fly. I think there's other ways that they could temper the power of this ship.
Is this because you own one?
No, because I don't. I just if you look at it, right, it's not a brick, right? It's got aero control surfaces on there. It looks like it should be a relatively agile flyer, which I think it should be. But I think you can control the balance of the ship in dogfighting by slowing down the speed of the projectiles or the laser beams come out of. I don't think you should actually slow down the ship. I think the ship should remain agile relatively. It's just that you can't shoot anything faster than a.
But don't you think that we have plenty of fighters in the game already?
No, but the shape of it is a fighter archetype.
But no,
right?
I'm talking about type of the ship. I mean purpose of the ship, not the design of the ship. I'm saying we have plenty of fighters, fast ships, light fighters, heavy fighters that are very fast and maneuverable. This, because of a size 7 gun, you're saying keep a size 7 gun, but slow down the rate of fire.
Well, slow down the speed of the projectile.
How are you going to do that? Well, with an ion blast?
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I mean,
What that do?
Huh?
What are you trying to do with that?
Yeah, but if you're trying to kill, I mean, not to be funny, but this ship is not with a size 7 gun, and you're trying to attack a cap ship with it. You want your projectile to reach the thing fairly quick. I mean, not that cap ships are moving very fast, but you don't want
cap ships ain't moving hardly at all. They're moving super slow. So so in comparison to a speedy ship, you can line it up and shoot a slow moving vessel. Anything that's
So what's the vulnerability for the ship? What's the weakness if we do?
Weakness is it's still the archetype of a heavy fighter, right? With a big gun that can't shoot any ships that are smaller or its same size. You can't take this ship can fly with a Vanguard. Should be able to fly with a Vanguard, but the Vanguard should be able to land shots on it where it can't land shots on it.
I think it's fly like an MSR more than a Vanguard.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, just in comparison of the size and the.
It's a big ship. We'll see. It's a
single seater fighter.
But no, it's a big ship too. Let's look at the dimensions on this ship because it's not the same as a fighter. It's bigger.
Is it a MSR? Is it a Hercules size ship?
No, not that big. Not that big.
Yeah.
Let me see.
But like, take the Retaliator. That's a one person ship that's has great flight characteristics.
Retaliator takes a cruise.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
But you don't need it. You don't need to have the turrets.
Retaliator is not a one person ship.
What do you guys think about this?
You could just fly in there and hit it with torpedoes. But I mean, it's based off a B2. Was it? Oh man, I think it's a B2, a B1B bomber, and
B1.
And I mean that is great flight characteristics, but you're not going to put that thing up against an F-16.
No.
He's saying agility. Yeah, he's saying agility and mobility, not just dealing with speed. I hear what GoMap's saying. I'm curious. Here's the length. The length on the ship is 27 meters, and the beam on it is 30 meters.
Way less than a conservation. Okay.
What's a freelancer?
Somebody else has to pull that one up because I've got the Aries up.
I'll do it.
Let me pause this to you. You were talking about drawbacks on this ship. Okay. How are they going to do that? Well, albeit it may not be super applicable right now, the Ion may have an EM signature of the sun, and Inferno may have a huge IR signature.
Yeah,
could so basically you're gonna So basically you're gonna see them coming like 20 odd kilometers off before they even get there.
Okay, the freelancer is 38 meters long and 23 and a half meters with the beam. And what the
27 and 30. 27 and 30. 27 and 30.
Okay.
And it's considered medium. It's considered medium, heavy combat fighter. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Again, they said that's what they're going to do. Now, when they said slow it down, whether that was relative to what it was or slower than other fighters of its class, we don't know, but we'll see. Maybe Gomab will be right.
Scoot. I think it should scoot. I think it should fly. I don't think, like right now, to me, a Connie is just not a pleasure to fly. If you need any kind of maneuver.
Yeah,
it's just a stuck in the mud type ship.
Yeah, Connie's with me. I've always had a love-hate relationship with.
I think the MSR flight model is great. I don't expect it to fly as good as an MSR, but if it's just 10 times worse than, if it flies like the current, hell, even the C2 flies pretty well for a ship. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I understand that they want to balance it. They said, "Oh, we put a size 7 gun on." People are just going around vaporizing arrows, sabers, vanguards, and gladiuses. We got to do something about this. I just think they picked the wrong thing in order to.
I'm not trying to put words in the mouth. I think part of the Gomab issue is that they keep making the newer ship better than the older ships.
No.
Well, they do. They do. The new ships that they release make some ship that they have out there obsolete. But I don't see that with this ship. Hopefully this is an opportunity for them to create an entirely different gameplay loop. Ship. Maybe you'll bring this out instead of the Eclipse to fight an Idris.
Nah, two different functions. I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't.
Right, but
that.
You're not taking a Vanguard to go fight an Idris.
No. Right.
You're going to bring size 9s, but if I have a ship that's got guns that can actually hurt an Idris, that gives me an actual viable choice when I have to go take down an Idris, as opposed to size 9 torpedoes being scratching.
Well, we will see.
Remember that the Perseus is only really supposed to damage, like, say, if I was going to attack an Idris with a Perseus, my best bet would be just to attack the engines and the subcomponents, and those are size 7s. Like, you've got 4 size 7s, so you would need 4 Ares to come close to the Perseus, and still you're only that's the type of damage you're putting out.
And here's one thing I think a lot of people kind of may get a little bit lost on. Okay. Yes, these are size 7 weapons. And in this particular case that I'm talking about the Inferno, the Gatling cannon variant. Okay. You're talking about a size 7 overall gun. Okay. But those shots are not going to be size 7 necessarily, compared to if you take a projectile from that cannon versus a projectile that's going to come out of a size 7 gun on a Perseus.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the first ship that we have of this type. That's the GAT, so we'll have to see. I get what you're saying in relation to the type of gun. I think, and maybe I'll be wrong on this, but I think that these ships are always going to have to be coordinated when they attack any large cap.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to have both. You're going to need to have both the ballistic as well as energy to penetrate and break down. And it'll be interesting to see people coordinate. Like Gomab was saying, you may have people who have waves of those. You've got some stealth bombers that are coming in waves of those. I'd love to see how people coordinate so that they're efficiently taking on ships and not just, unloading. Because if you've got ballistics, obviously there's going to be a limit on how much of that you can do. And I would think with even a size 7 Gatling, the heat issues are going to be a factor even with these guns, to Gomab's point about how much you can fire and frequency of fire. So, and one other point, Gomab, I do appreciate what you said earlier, is about the fact that Crusader ships in their design do seem to lend themselves toward great flying ability. So maybe they will carry it over with this, but again, we'll see. This is what I think they said, not 315, but it's going to be 315A or whatever. It'll come out a little bit later, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see how this ship performs.
This goes on Papa Doc's comment. Papa Doc talks about flying in a straight line. but I mean, they have a picture with this ship, and it's attacking the Nova tank, and this is pretty close to the A10. So yes, I think it can attack sub-capital ships, which I think isn't the Idris. I don't think the Idris is actually in a capital ship, but I think its really role could be something different.
Okay. But one thing I am interested in before we move on to the next thing is that I'm interested in like how this will fit into now how people will defend against the Ares Inferno or the Ares Ion. Like, do they try to they have to send out a fleet of ships? Do they take out the Ares first or take out the other craft first?
I honestly think it all depends on what the particular incoming wave is like intending to do. It basically, put it this way: if I have a couple of Ares coming in with a couple of like arrows or something like that, and they're going to attack not an 810, they're going to attack 890. Okay. I'm gonna realize those 890s are I mean, dang, I can't get my ship straight today.
That's fine.
Those Ares are going to be a heck of a lot bigger threat to that ship than those arrows are. So in that case, it would be, I'm going to take out the Ares first.
Yeah, you take out the biggest threat.
Yeah.
Prioritize.
Okay.
Okay.
J2 says he has a size comparison image in Discord, Fastcart.
Yeah.
If you can grab it real quick, we can take a quick look at it before we change over. Thank you, J2. We appreciate that. And welcome everybody who's just joined us. We're just talking about the sneak peek from last week, which was the Ares. And so we're talking about what this image was, and everybody kind of conceded that it was possibly or probably an image from Pyro, since we know CitizenCon is coming up. And we can kind of tell from that orange glow that maybe we're seeing the sun of Pyro, or the star, I should say, of Pyro, glistening on that ship. So we'll see if that's true, though, later.
I had it, but then, okay, hold on. Almost got it.
Oh, don't feel bad, Fastcard. I freaking was hitting my Discord trying to pull it up on the stream, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah, so this ship is smaller than a Vanguard.
Oh yeah. So,
wow. If it flies, man, that would feel so terrible.
Smaller than the Vanguard. Wow.
Yes.
I thought it was bigger than that. Wow.
No, it's just a big ship with a cockpit on it. I mean, a big gun with a cockpit. It's a big gun with a cockpit and engine. That's what it is, man. There's no reason why this thing should not fly like the wind.
Yeah. That's the size I was hoping.
I have to agree with Gomez.
Well, you might be right. You might be right.
Agree with you now.
We'll see.
I gotta agree with you.
Yep, I thought it would be bigger. I thought it would be between the Vanguard and the MSR, but yeah.
Damn, it's smaller than a Cuddy.
Yeah, so they gotta find a different way to balance it. Don't make it fly terribly. Just look at the ship. It looks like it'll cut through.
Well, nobody said it was going to fly terribly. Now they just said they were going to slow it down.
It should fly
they were
well.
going to slow it down. Right? Okay, we'll see.
It should fly well. It should fly as well as any ship in its size class. It's right next to the F8C, and that ship is supposed to fly like butter.
Yeah, that I think would be kind of a hard sell for people, just because you're basically putting in the UEE Navy's top of the line fighter against something that has a giant gun strapped on the front.
Yeah, I think Kita has it. It's a glass cannon.
Yeah, basically.
It's a cannon.
Yeah. We'll see.
And I'm okay with that.
We don't know if it's a glass cannon, but we don't know if it's a glass cannon yet either.
No, we don't know.
We have to look at the specs on that to see.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I could say, the Hurricane used to be a glass cannon too. Now.
True.
Yeah. So.
But the Hurricane definitely has the advantage of its size and speed, which is how you get around it with that. Yeah. This one, unfortunately, I'm trying to look at the specs on it. Yeah, there's not enough here to go by.
It should have size 2 shields.
I'm trying to I'm looking at everything here.
Now, I don't know if it should be a glass cannon, because didn't they say before that the armor on this thing was pretty
a couple
decent?
Shots. Tap ship defenses, maybe not railgun.
I mean, it's gonna have to have some kind of balancing aspect to it because it has a big old gun on it. So
Right. That's why I say the way to balance that is to slow down the projectile speed. Instead of being
as an
make it be
offset.
Type of situation.
I know. I understand the canon. Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, we'll see.
We'll see. All right. So moving on, we got the CitizenCon. It was announced Friday. Put the link in Twitch chat.
We are 8 days, 12 hours, and 28 minutes away.
I'm trying to didn't put seconds on there. Yeah, this was announced Friday during the Star Citizen Live, and they have a whole bunch of information on here. October 9th, 3 p.m. local time. October 9th. Well, that's my Eastern time. So yeah, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's 10 a.m. Central, and so forth, so on and so forth. So it'll convert to your time when you open the website. And it's on Twitch only. It's not on YouTube. But I'll put it on YouTube later. But it'll be primarily on Twitch first. And talk about giveaways and contests and good stuff. And they have a schedule, but it's all to be decided. Because I think the Tony Zervac conversation will probably be either 2 hours or 14 hours. So they're not sure how to fit around Tony Zervac yet.
Hey, real quick, if you don't mind me asking, and go around the room real quick. If you had to pick one of these as the one you definitely want to sit in on, which one of the sessions would it be? Let me start with Admiral.
I just want to do the ship talk.
Ship talk, okay.
Just because I want to. I mean, I kind of think if they demonstrate what's coming out, kind of shows you the direction they're going in.
Okay, cool. Fist, what about you?
I would have to say Gen 12.
Gen 12, multi-core Vulcan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Go Mab.
Server meshing.
Ooh. Yeah, Mr. Network himself. Okay, got you. I know you've been asking about that. Pops?
I'd have to agree with Go and my son, because I'm always most interested in underneath the hood.
Okay. And Spitfire?
I'm going to be the one who completely breaks ranks here, and I want to go to the Planet Tech one.
Okay. FC, what about you?
All of them. I mean, that's a cop-out answer, but I'm just going to be watching all of them just to let it wave over me. No, the Tony Zervac one was probably one I'm most interested in, but, I'll watch all of them.
Okay. I know you're going to watch all of them. I can't see you missing any of these at all. Okay. Very cool.
I didn't see that Sounds of Space, though.
Yeah, I'm surprised Pop and Fish didn't go to Sound Space.
No, I didn't see that one. So you know what? I'm actually interested in seeing what they come up with that.
Okay, you might lean into that sound design and stuff.
What kind of Foley they do with the.
And also, I don't know if anybody saw, but one of the people in chat doesn't know what CitizenCon is.
Don't trust Raymar. Don't trust Raymar.
Okay, I wondered because I'm like, hold on, you've been subscribed for 6 months. Hold on.
Don't trust Raymar. He's pulling your chain. Don't worry. Keita said it's a trap.
That's like me asking what's a pandemic, because you know I would. But no, yeah, CitizenCon, yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to go to the physical one next year. But yeah, digital one. Everything is to be decided. They'll let us know when the schedule is. In addition to the schedule, we have CitizenCon digital goodies. So we're getting a TBF 4 suit, a weapon, and this year's commemorative trophy. Now, my issue with the trophy is that we don't have access to our hangars. So where are we going to put the trophies? What are we going to do with the trophies now?
Remember, persistent habs are coming.
So how do y'all feel about the digital goodies? Anybody got any thoughts or feelings?
I'm okay with it.
I could use a discount coupon.
I'm okay with it.
Knife.
It's free this time, so I can't really complain too bad.
I ain't gonna complain. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'll never wear it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wear that. I don't like the color.
I mean, if we get that armor, that's cool. I'll be happy.
Are you gonna wear the armor?
Hell yeah!
All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That armor looks cool.
Heaven forbid they ever come out with a big enough ship to fit all my armor. I will be that, like the girl who has like so many shirts in her closet, be going, which one should I wear today? It's kind of cold outside. Maybe I should wear this one.
Uh-oh, you can't come on the show and talk sexist. Somebody will get mad at you.
Hey,
Guys have clothes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Jake's not here.
No. It's not, you know,
here's my question.
It's not appropriate. Okay.
Yeah, here's my question. When I ask about the digital goodies, how do you guys feel about it? For those of you who've been around for a while, and Fast Card alluded to this, in the past, you used to have to pay to get these items when CitizenCon came around.
Wow.
This year they're free, right? The items he talked about, particularly like the trophy back in the day, we used to every year you would get one of these trophies saying that you participated in CitizenCon. It's a virtual trophy. You put it in your trophy shelf. Can't do that right now. But my question is, these 4 items, would you like to see something different? Are you happy with what you're seeing? I'm tired of seeing knives. I don't want to see another knife. We got a knife last year, a couple years ago. I don't want to see a knife. In a way, I don't want to see a piece of armor. I don't, because I already have other stuff. Yeah, I'm curious as to what other things that maybe CIG could give that feel very exclusive, right? Like that trophy is an exclusive. That's for your joint when you want to put it in. But I would love to see something other than a knife. Armor's okay, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like they need to push a little bit more, because we get these stuff, this stuff pops up all the time throughout the year, right? You get a knife, a gun, whatever. I want to see some other things come up now with digital goodies that celebrate CitizenCon in a different way. And I don't know what that thing may be, but I was just kind of curious of what you guys thought. Keita says we need more plushies.
Okay.
That works. I like that one.
No. I just thought of an interesting one.
Some fluffy bunny slippers.
Some bunny slippers.
Oh my. Yeah. Let me
goodness.
let me run this by you, Griff. And this harkens back to the Eve days, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fireworks launcher, except it's not a launcher. It's just like a flare gun that you get, and you have to load it up. You just fire it in the air. It's like fireworks.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Something like, not to be funny, something like that would be cool.
Yeah.
They're talking about us getting into player housing, in the future. I would love to get a very cool, some of you guys know, in the early days, they used to give us stuff to mount on the walls. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Right.
They would give like a holiday plaque or something like that. I guess I want something that feels more commemorative than just items that, or
I wouldn't mind like a poster, because they in 2015, 2016, no, 2017, they had the Gamecom Cologne poster. I like that.
Yeah. Even if the banner that they create every year, and they had the years so that you could put those up in your hanger and show that those CitizenCons you participated in or whatever. I just want something that's a little bit more out there that can display this, show that you've been in the game for a while or you've participated in CitizenCon a little bit more. So I won't belabor the point, but I was just kind of curious if you all were satisfied with this. The fact that it's free, like Fast Card said, is nice, because before, was it $5 you had to pay Fast Card before?
And not just that, they had for Gamecom they usually have 2 trophies: the one they give you for the subscription, and the one you had to pay for.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so wait a minute. Let me understand. Okay, so wait a minute. You guys had to pay for the package as well as to pay to get in?
Yeah. Yep.
No, I mean that was the
Yes.
physical one. The physical one, yeah.
Yeah. No. But yeah, right. But he was saying that we had 2 prices to pay. It didn't come with the ticket to the CitizenCon.
Didn't come
Right.
with the ticket, exactly.
Mhm.
I
But
thought it
last year,
came with the ticket to the
Well, what they started doing was expanding it, because like that, when we went to Austin Fest Card, what they gave us like a whole goodie
They
bag
gave
thing.
us a bag. I was just about to say that. They gave a bag,
Okay.
and we had to pre-order the T-shirt. The T-shirt was like $20 or
Right,
something like that.
right.
But they had a bag.
Right.
It had a mini poster, decal, and it was a nice
Decal
bag, too.
poster. You got I think, wasn't there like a jump drive in it or something like that, and some other stuff. They gave us a whole bunch of stuff in that bag.
Of the
Brochure of the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when they did CitizenCon, you would get like a commemorative program, and it would have whatever the ship was that was being released that year, and a whole bunch of other stuff in it. I mean, it's really nice. It was done really well.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of curious as to what are some, like, since we're not physically meeting, is there maybe something different that they could start giving us? So anyway.
Oh, I do want to say thank you to 11S Hanger for the gift subscription. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, we do. Thank you. And Dog, thank you for the follow as well. We appreciate that.
And they also have the Quantum Down Memory Lane, the Toby Eye Tracker. That's the I guess that's the sponsor for this year.
Yep.
And they're saying we could have popcorn and pips, a watch party and win. So that'll be announced October 1st. So Friday? Yeah, Friday.
Right, exactly. Panther Modern, thank you for the resub as well. Sorry we didn't get to say something to you. And Blowhoss and Blowhoss, thank you also for the follow. This watch party is something different. They're setting up this contest. I guess they're going to put out some more information on it later. But it says prepare early by this contest by organizing the most epic watch party you can. You could, whether you have themed food or decorations or themed dress code, all of the above will help you secure victory. Check back October 1st, which is tomorrow, for more details on how to enter. Okay.
So we're gonna have a Soul Citizen watch party now. We talked about that behind the scenes.
We still haven't decided. I don't think we ever decided.
I thought it was definitely no. It was still up in the air.
I don't know. I don't remember what we said. I forgot.
Me and Griffin are not doing it. Put it that way.
That's good. You gonna moderate it?
No. No, I just think we couldn't debate if we were going to do it or not, because but we have so many people who are in different orgs and stuff, and we didn't want to split people up from being with their orgs. So I think that was why we just kind of said, whatever.
I was trying to nominate him, Griff.
Okay, sorry.
I saw that.
Well, you know what? We've got the show the next day too, so that was the other reason why we said we let it go.
Just kind of,
I got you.
And speaking of, we have Bar Citizen, virtual Bar Citizen.
Whoa! You missed something. You didn't go further down the page.
Oh, that was the community stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were going to cover those a little bit.
Okay, fine. No
Just
problem.
a little bit.
Yeah, the cosplay, community cosplay, and they do. I'm sorry. They do have a big. They make a big deal out of it, and I enjoy it. Like, especially like. When it's in person, it's better because you have actually you can pick the winner and stuff like that. But this year they're just showing pictures of people in different cosplays. Ken Shadow's always there with his cosplay. Diablos is always there. I think.
Yep.
And they have a load more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, he did a good job.
Oh yeah, Director Gunner usually does one, and one else. Reason I want to comment on this Fast Cart is because each year it seems like cosplay is growing, not just in the sense of people who are doing it for the contest, but I mean people who just come and attend. And so I'm kind of curious, do you guys think that we've talked about the fact that it's unique that Star Citizen is already having a convention for a game that is not officially launched, which is already unusual. But do you think it will grow to something like that people will come and a lot of the people will dress up, not because of the contest, but just because they're coming to this convention? Do you think that this will be like, a Star Wars convention or any other, type of convention?
It's possible. It could become a cult thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when the movie comes out.
Oh Lord!
I thought it already did.
I definitely could see. I mean, I'm looking at that armor, the two armors that's up there. I'm like, damn, they did a very fantastic job. Because I know somebody.
Sometimes as soon as one CitizenCon is over, they started on next CitizenCon as well as our cosplay goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I know a young lady who's into cosplay, and I've watched her over the years. She does League of Legends cosplay, and she goes all out. Shows how she does it. And I know how much hard work it takes to go and put into these things.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
something I can do. It's definitely a talent and a skill.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I would like to be there for the food.
Yeah, them food trucks. Oh, yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I wish I was
food.
Know what? Next time I'm probably gonna sneak some food in if they allow me. They won't. They don't. They don't allow food in. But I wish they did. All right. So speaking of CitizenCon, you're having a Bar Citizen the day before CitizenCon on October 8th, which is my birthday.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah.
right.
so we have
And-
2 bar citizens.
Mm-hmm.
One is called Hype, and the other one is called Death. The first one is called Hype, Friday, October 8th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC. Second one is called Death on Saturday, October 16th, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. And I'm going to put a link in Twitch chat so you can RSVP for the first one on October 8th. So looking forward to seeing people there. Thank you,
And
Steve.
you guys make sure you guys register. We already have twice as many people as we normally would have had by this time this year, obviously because of CitizenCon. So if you guys want to be able to come, we may have a cutoff limit because there's only so many people we can probably manage on Zoom. We're going to kind of see how that goes. So you guys, the link is in the chat. If you RSVP for it, we do know that some folks from CIG are going to be there, and they are going to be doing some giveaways. So, and you can come to either one. If you want to come to the Hype, which is basically the social event to get to talk to other people and just kind of have fun and, do whatever theory crafting you want about what's going to happen that next day at the CitizenCon, you're welcome to come to that on that Friday evening. And if you want to come and talk about what happened and what you saw, as Fast Card said, that'll be the following week, and we'll have a lot of discussions about that. So we're being sponsored by the Astro Pub, being sponsored by Yacht Club SC. I think I'm free to say that we're also being sponsored by Test Squadron and also, of course, Soul Citizens. So you guys are more than welcome to come and have fun with us for those 2 weekends.
And just to let everyone know, after registering, you will receive a confirmation email containing information about joining the meeting. Make sure you don't lose it. Make sure it doesn't fall into the spam folder and get deleted by accident. So, yeah, it should be fun.
And ODZ, I'm sorry, yeah, we stopped live streaming to YouTube. We found out that there was a conflict with Twitch doing that in real time. So we're kind of back to posting it certain many hours after we do the show. I know it was really fun when we were doing it on YouTube because there's some people who just don't do Twitch, but we had to change up and kind of go back to just doing Twitch only. So thanks for being there when you were there, but that's why we're exclusively
and thanks
on
for coming
Twitch
over to
tonight.
Twitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, Noobifier.
Noobifier.
Good to see you, Noobifier. Okay, what's next?
Next is... Oh,
I don't even know what's next. Oh, ISC?
Yeah,
okay.
ISC.
Oh, yeah.
So this week's ISC is called Bombshell Clientele. On this week's explosive episode of Inside Star Citizen, we take a look at the addition of Bomb alongside a showcase of features that'll change how you play Star Citizen forever in the upcoming Alpha 3.15. So let's check that out.
Yeah, ODZ, you want this show to stay on.
With bombs, we're trying to create that
brother.
element of excitement. There's an offense and there's a defense strategy. Bombs give a really kind of mental way to kind of start that battle. So if you go to a particular location on the map, let's say, and you bring some friends, they basically set up a tank around an area. We want players to be able to attack that, so they've got a reason to defend it. There's also the NPC side, which is we've got bases now with the ability to have ground turrets on them, and these can include guns, but also missiles as well. And they can be quite effective at kind of keeping players out, but we want something to counter that. And a way to counter that as a rather fundamental force is a very large bomb, which can kind of push through some of those defenses and give players the other advantage, which is you can come in, you can bring your big ship in, you can bomb some of the early defenses, and then you can use some of your smaller ships that you have with you, to kind of get in there and to take that ground location away from them. We wanted bombs to come in with a really big impact. We wanted a big ship that could carry a big bomb. The A2 carrying the size 10, it basically, allowed us to do that. We didn't want a guided bomb or anything like that. We wanted to give you like a high-tech solution to the targeting. So, although you've got this massive, powerful bomb, we wanted there to be some skill in trying to hit the target with it. So we put bombs in an operator mode, which is very, very similar to missiles, apart from when you have bombs selected on your ship, you will get your bomb UI. We've got the visual space in front of you, which allows you to see where your bomb will drop if you drop at any point. But we've also given you an option to create a reference point, and that will allow the UI on the hood itself to tell you where to move to. And then when you're flying towards this, it will tell you whether you need to speed up, move left and right. And then as you move towards it, you'll see a circle. And this gives you the reference point of where the bomb's going to drop. And then if you get it right, and if you get the timing right, depending on physics, and if you've got any wind or anything that could affect it in the time as well, it will drop within that point that you've referenced. But in some future patches, we're looking at, supporting a full bombing station on the A2, for example. And this can include things like, a remote camera looking down at the bomb, which will hopefully, in terms of our goals with this, is to move the advantage from the pilot being the person that controls the bomb to the bomber station, because we want people to have these roles on these ships, that really make a difference. So, even if you're not within the blast radius of the bomb, you've still got a chance of damaging and hurting players within the vicinity of the physical blast itself as well. So that's you've got to be quite careful because it's quite a big radius. So make sure you release it at the right time, but apart from that, have fun blowing stuff up.
This first iteration of bombing aims to bring functionality to the upcoming Hercules A2. And like all features, we'll continue to evolve and iterate with testing and feedback from you before rolling out to other spacecraft that can make use of this potentially devastating new feature. And speaking of the Hercules A2, it's set to arrive in the upcoming Alpha 3.15, so let's go ahead and take the last few minutes of this quarter's last episode to take one more look at what all is making its way to the persistent universe in the patch report.
Need to unmute myself real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna cut that part and then go to the next part. So bombs. I mean, I have to say, they set us up to bomb, make your time, and someone else had to say, "You dropped a bomb on me." Come on,
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to go there.
You look so disappointed too. Kusanagi, what are your thoughts about bombs so far?
Well, you have to, first of all, you have to add the whistle to that. You have to go shh, and then like the music at the end. I thought it was very cool. It looks like, at least for now, they're not getting any area damage except for like the vehicles. I'd like to see some area like a damage, like if you hit like a trash collection area, it kind of like everything gets blown away a little bit. And I would like a blast wave, like a pressure wave, off of it, depending upon the atmosphere conditions. So yeah.
Go bad. What are your thoughts?
You said drop bombs over Baghdad.
All right. Okay.
No, I am glad that it's not did putting in some sort of skill base, become a pretty good bombardier to be added to the crew. Do that, otherwise I imagine those size 10 bombs are quite pricey. If size 9 torpedoes are any indication, those size 10 bombs not going cheap. I want somebody dropping those bombs, they're not going to hit. Curious to see, as I want to see the destructive forces. They can
Okay.
Can they come in and just wipe out a whole outpost, everything out there? Or I'm sure it's going to scale based on close you the impact.
Go Matt, for some reason you're clipping. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
because
you're
you're
clipping.
distance from your mic, but you're
I
clipping.
didn't know if it was him on purpose or. Yeah, thank you.
No, oh sorry, I'm right on top of my mic. Is that a little bit better?
Yes, much better. Yeah, much better.
In my mic now. One of the things that they did mention that I did appreciate are that
You're still
the
clipping.
outposts are going to have better defenses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the missiles and the turrets now. So it's not just going to be, you know, as simple as having the bomber fly in and drop on there. You're going to have some coordination to maybe take out some of those anti-air defenses before you can do your bombing run, or maybe vice versa, right? Maybe you have to do the bombing run first in order to get your smaller ships in there to be able to, you know, land. And yeah, I hope this leads to more fleshed out ground gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay. Face to face. Welcome back. What are your thoughts?
Oh, thank you. Is my mic working?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. What are my thoughts on ISC on the bombing part?
Yeah.
Or the bombs? Oh,
yep.
I'm shocked at the blast radius, but I'm like, wow. You know,
They say it was, or just visually, you're shocked.
No, I mean when I saw that from the distance, from where it hit to where the Nova was, that blast radius and how much damage it did to that Nova tank, I was like, that's kind of scary because I don't want no troubles with anybody with one.
Yeah, if you're not wearing sunblock 10,000, you're gonna have a very bad day, right? That's how the quote goes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm definitely eager to try one out now. Me and my dad were talking about PO becoming a testing ground. But we'll see.
Okay. Oh, Digi, welcome. Did you drag you in by accident, or do you want to talk with us?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. I actually keep watching the stream, but I keep forgetting to get into Discord. But
no problem.
yeah, I don't know if you guys watched this video, or there's a clip of Captain Richard from like 3 years ago, where the 890 jump got introduced to the game, and then he put it on top of a rock, and he had like 3 moles overcharge the rock. And did you guys see the explosion from that? That's what I want the bombs to do. It literally threw everyone everywhere. It was like a nuclear bomb had just went off. That's what I was kind of hoping was going to happen with this Moab, because it's not really that intimidating. From what I saw, yeah, it may do damage to a lot of ships, but it doesn't do anything. There's no like force reactions at all, right? It's just fire, a little bit of smoke, and then nothing. Right. So I hope they actually add to it. I'm not sure what they're planning on doing as far as VFX are concerned. I'm not sure if they're going to use that terrain deformation that they showed off during the river. What is it? Star Citizen Live that they had. I think beginning of this year. So I don't know. I can see the potential of it. Right now, it doesn't really scare me. The only thing I do like seeing is the fact that you can see them from space. I think that's pretty dope. And I'm hoping this will force miners, because I know someone said, rip miners or whatever, but this should force miners to either, get together as a group or to hire escorts to prevent something like this from happening. And I'm also wondering how they're going to balance cities, because if people are, congregating around like, cities and stuff, are they going to make the cities invulnerable, or is it just going to be mass carnage everywhere? I actually hope they just let it be mass carnage. That way they can balance it down instead of like tamping it down and trying to ratchet it up afterwards.
Okay. Fair. Pops, what are your thoughts?
A couple of things. That 45-degree angle, I'll be glad when they fix that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people and put that in the bombing station in its proper place, because that 45-degree angle thing looks really dumb. But I can understand why they're putting it in for right now until they fix it. And I did not know that thing was armed to the teeth underneath. I didn't know it had, what is it, 5 or 6 guns?
Yeah, the A2.
Yeah, underneath the belly.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know it had that many guns. And just wondering how effective they're going to be if that thing is bombing from, atmosphere. I didn't know it had that many guns underneath. It's like, I think it's 6 altogether.
I can't remember how many there are underneath, but there are quite a few. I mean, I mean, not to be funny, but most bombers have some type of defense systems in them.
Yeah.
Because I know we just saw it on the video where just one flew through, but your issue is that when you have a squadron of bombers come through, that's another factor too. And of course, I think to Odie's point, you're going to want to protect those ships when they come through as well. Because you want them to be able to deliver their ordnance. So they're going to need protection as well when they fly in. Now, I think there was a video when we went over the Eclipse a little while ago. The Eclipse, if you remember, it hit ground targets as well, but it was more of a, get in, get out kind of thing, right? Where this is like the typical B1 or B2, I should say, or B-52, whatever you want to call, type of bomber. But it can strike from very high, doesn't have to be low. Where like when the Eclipse came in, it was flying very, very low to the ground when it decided to hit a ground target. So I'd love to see how people coordinate with these different types of ships, these bombers, plus the A2. I think the ordnance swap out is that you can either go with the size 10s. There's some other sizes they talked about. Or the other thing is that it carries 60 bomblets in it as well for doing strafing bombing runs too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can see the usefulness of the ballista coming into effect now. Deter these from.
Well, GoMab mentioned something that they showed in the video. They showed that they're now putting missiles at the bases too, not just turrets. So you got surface to air missiles down there protecting now. So let alone ballistas, like you said, but is now approaching them is not going to be as easy as it's been in the past. There's going to force you to either, and this is where the gameplay comes in with vehicles and everything, because now you're going to fly in with your M2 or your C2, and maybe what you're going to do is drop your vehicles outside of the range of those weapons, and then they're going to drive in and take them out, versus that whole typical thing where we just kind of fly in and bomb everything. I mean, it'll give you flexibility to do it whichever way you want to do it,
Sorry. Jack Heller asked, "Will the bombs have continuing momentum in space if you can get if you can get the bomb out of the bomb bay?" That sounds like something Chris would want, but I don't know if that's going to be viable.
They talked about that whole thing about inertia in space, dropping something and something just continuing, and they said that they're going to have to put a limit on that. They talked about that in the past. Thing, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How things going forever.
But no Mass Effect speech on that one, right?
Yeah.
Sad
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in front of you, Spitfire, on that. I just wanted to make a comment. What were your thoughts about the bombing piece?
Oh no, I just had to. I'll say that too, but I had to throw it him when you said no Mass Effect speech. I'm like, oh come on.
Give us your thoughts about the bomb. What do you think?
Honestly, in terms of the Moab, it's very pretty. I like it. But I'm honestly more interested in the bomblets that it could carry.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I honestly think that the Bombardier would be a job I would like to try on that ship. I think it'd be fun.
Like all things in Star Citizen, hopefully, like you said, first iteration, Odie said this earlier, this is where they're starting, but hopefully it'll develop out like a lot of the other careers. Will become much more engaged, much more involved, Bombardier, much more planning. A whole lot of other stuff can come out of it. We also had Uri, the Smoke, join us. Uri, how are you?
Welcome, Uri.
I'm good. What's good with everybody?
Good. Give us your thoughts about the opening of ISC here with the bombing. What'd you think?
The bombs look pretty. The whole interface of how to shoot it, beautiful. Well, it's well done job on that. Like they should be proud of that. I was worried about how it was gonna look. To be honest. Because comparing the UI interface to a lot of other stuff, it seems like everything's cohesively going in a very positive direction, and I'm happy for that. The explosion pretty. The terrain deformation, I understand there is no game that can handle what SC has to handle to support that right now. That is a ways away for any terrain deformation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's fantasy world almost. Like I don't even know if iCache can handle that. For how much people will on a regular will be throwing missiles and explosions everywhere.
Maybe that's part of the blockage they're having. They're trying to get that to work, but yeah, running into problems.
Some org will be like, let's destroy yellow completely. Let's just blow it off the star map all the
Every server will crash.
Let me ask a question, because most of you guys have played games with destructible environments, right? It's and agree, it would be nice, and I wouldn't put it past the fact that if Chris can figure out how to make it happen, he will in time, to Uriah's point. But let me ask a question. In the practicality of all things, should that be where it's, completely, like Odie mentioned about the fact of, because I do believe that what they are going to implement at the very least will be things like shockwaves, because they've already shown us how jet blasts and other things will impact us in the game already. So I can easily see that. And they've talked about, even if you're on the outside of the blast, you're still going to take some type of damage or hurt. So there will be some form of shockwave or something that helps us. But when it comes to these destructibles, and I'm asking this because, as you know, there are going to be some facilities, NPC places, places where maybe org set up. How destructible should destructible be? And what I mean is, and I'm talking about in the sense of the weight of the technicality of doing that in the game. Should it be at a place where when you bomb someplace, it's just obliterated, or is it just damaged? Does it respawn after a week? Because it sounds great to say that, but I'm trying to put it in some type of way to come back into the game. How do we come back into the game and also make the game still there? Because, you just go bomb everything all the time and it doesn't come back, and the game's not structured to be doing construction at that level. So what are your thoughts? Anybody got any thoughts about what will be the practical thing that makes it feel good, but not so crazy that, we don't see it till 15 years from now?
Well, a lot of games, a limit to how much of the terrain can actually destroy. Right? Even in games like Valheim or No Man's Sky, right? It does have destructible terrain. You can only go down so far before you hit, like in Minecraft, the bedrock, so to speak. Can't go any further. And even games like No Man's Sky, there's only so much terrain manipulation that you can do in a certain area. So even if you did it all in one space, no more, you couldn't do any more terrain manipulation in that square, so to speak.
True. True. Let's take. I mean, if they don't take down the communications, then if you drop one of these on a settlement, then they kind of know you're in the area, and this just happened. They're probably going to hit you with a level 5. And the way I hope it is like, okay, yes, you take out the settlement, but now the AI has to rebuild the settlement. It could take a certain amount of time. It could take AI and NPCs, like they might be wary about going in there until there's proper security. So there might be, it might take them a little bit of time to repopulate the location. And Romar says, deliver resources to the location. So to say Chris Roberts won't try it is kind of crazy to say, but I think he will try to get as close to that as possible. And it may come out 5 years after the game releases.
It could create NPC jobs, their repair
crews. Aren't they actually currently working on destructible environments right now?
Yeah, they talked about it. Yeah, they talked about it. Yep.
So we're going to be getting destructible environments, period. And I know when the engineer was talking about how he's creating the tech for rivers, and then he
did a demonstration with the grenades.
With the grenades to use ground deformation. All they got to do is limit it. You can limit it to maybe 10 meters, right? So once you reach a depth of 10 meters, it won't change.
That's
and then they can do the same thing for buildings. Because depending on how because they use prefabs, right? So maybe they can have it set to having, it can be randomized, but you'll keep about maybe 40%
still be
of the
there.
building
More
intact.
like ruins than just
Right.
total obliteration. Mhm.
Exactly. And then you can just, build on top of that, because I think it'll be good not only for the NPCs but also for players, because you do need a point of reference. If you build a base somewhere
Mhm.
and you allow people to completely erase it, right? You're
Mhm.
not going to be able to find where your base was,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because even if it was like on top of like a plateau, if they've bombed it and there's deformation, you're not going to know where it was. So what I think they'll do is they'll just allow it to just, to go to a limit, and then allow you to at least see where your place is, and then you can go from there. You can either hire NPCs or other players to maybe rebuild it.
Mhm.
Right.
But I think they are definitely going to have some limited form of defamation, because
Mhm.
they already have it for other stuff.
Okay.
My thought
Just like
is,
with bombs, right? Bombs are just missiles
Mhm.
reimagined. They're just reusing tech they already
Mm.
have, and then just using it in a different use case.
And that's a title for the next expansion, 316's Bombs, Missiles Reimagined.
Exactly.
my thought is, instead of allowing people to like say like you have a target on Terra or Earth that destructible, people can play it, can bomb them. My thought is they would have defenses against that, like anti bomb artillery or something like that to prevent that, because they're going to want their infrastructure at certain places to be not, I want to say indestructible, but not be able to be damaged, put it that way.
Somebody put in the chat, and it was a good point. They talked about the fact that when that bomb was dropping, there was some time that it was in the air. And they were right. If you saw that thing dropping, you're going to put everything you got on the ground and try to nail that thing before it gets to the ground,
Right.
which is another factor. So to your point, Fast Cart, in the well-populated areas, they could put in defense systems. What's the name of the gun? One of you guys remember?
CWIZ or CRAM.
No, the one that's on the aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
The anti
Phalanx.
the phalanx. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, CWIZ is just a land-based variant.
Okay. Well, you could have something like that, getting past it, the odds of getting past it would be horrible. I think I shared with you guys earlier before too, that when I was watching Kate, and I told you, remember when I told you she fired down at Lorville, she took a penalty just from firing from her ship with a rifle.
Yeah.
So they could come up with some things that say, for those players who do want to do that, if you do it, it's going to be a high price to pay for doing something like that. Whether people can do it in UEE, of course, people will always try to do stuff. I don't know. We'll see. But I was just kind of wondering what you guys thought is there a practical line? And I like what Odie said about having something that creates ruins. I like what Fist said, that over time, NPCs come back within a time frame and possibly rebuild it. That would be very cool to even be able to come back and see that happening. But then when it comes to player facilities, that might be a whole nother dynamic. We'll talk about that another time.
I think that. Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, I actually think I figured out what they're gonna do for bombs at cities. You guys know what happens to you when you're in Orison and you try and fly in to the populated area?
Mm-hmm.
You just explode, right?
Right.
So they might actually just explode all ordnance, coming in. And another thing I was thinking of, so you were mentioning, you'll have time to destroy the bomb as it's, careening in. But remember, it doesn't use any propellant, right?
Right.
So what kind of signature are you going to be going off of to even attack it? Right?
That's a good question.
Because if you can do this from like just in atmosphere so that it can get, dragged down, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to know that bomb is on its way?
Well, targeting. You could do targeting. I mean, not to be funny, go old school. It's called just a sight, man, and start firing everything you got at the sucker.
No, but I'm saying you're not even going to know it's on its way to even look up at the sky.
Well, right? I don't know. If an A2 is coming and somebody gives you a heads up on it, you don't think you're going to have people watching the skies when you have a base?
But okay, think about it. Wouldn't all A2s then just attack at from 90,000 feet, like if they're on a planet?
Oh, that's the problem. We don't know what the height is. Yeah, I'm just going by what we saw in the in the video.
Okay,
I don't know how high. I get what your point though. Don't get me wrong. You're right. They could be up high enough that they could drop, and by the time you do see it,
because it's only what What's the range of?
Bombs on you.
How are you even going to be able to ping when you're on the surface as well, unless you're in a ship? And even then, what's the range? What is it, 10 kilometers?
Yeah, about 10 kilometers. Yeah.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Look, they should just leave it like without any restrictions, just so we can see the fallout.
See what happens.
just see what happens.
I
For
would think
science,
they would
right?
have some kind of like computer system that could detect different air currents or atmospheric disturbances to detect these.
Yeah, but I'm saying, look at the signatures our ships currently detect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which of those is the bomb actually using when it's falling?
Cross section.
Radar. It's probably the only one I can think of.
Yeah, that's it. Just radar. Yeah.
And there's Shade. Hello, Jade.
Hello.
Hey, Jade.
Hey, Jade.
Hey, Jade.
You're right. You're bleeding through just a little bit with your background.
Oh,
So
that's
Jay,
on
do
me.
you have any thought? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to large explosions.
You little pyromaniac. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, we're gonna have pyro and things for pyromaniacs. Perfect.
Before we move on, I just want to say that my thoughts was like I'm reminded of the StarCraft, the game StarCraft. It had the nuke, what is it? The Ghost. That's what it was. Ghost.
Yeah, the Ghost,
Who would do the bomb. So this is just a very updated version of that. The other thing that I was kind of bothered by, you could hear bombs in space. A land-based bomb in space. At the end of this segment, you saw that. But I know that's gamified and what. Yeah, so I'm willing to let that go.
We can hear everything in space, Fast Cart.
Yeah.
You know, I actually would
Yeah.
like them because I've seen this debate for years, going back in the Star Citizen community for years. I would like them to just put a setting in, for
Just
those
silence.
type of
A check
ambient.
mark.
Yeah, because it
Mhm.
doesn't give anybody it's actually making a disadvantage. It's not going to give anybody a gaming advantage.
Mhm. That's the truth.
I just want them to allow EMPs to actually affect your ship systems that propagate sound for you. That would be dope.
Oh yeah,
Because they're gonna do
absolutely.
it, right? They just haven't yet. So
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
they would introduce that, a lot of people are gonna cry.
Yep. You know it.
We have to be careful. No, we don't. We want the game to be challenging and not punishing. I understand you sadists out there want to see the world burn. We want the game to be challenging. We want skill to be rewarded. We don't want to punish the noobs so that they run away after day one and say, "I don't want to play this.
I want my money. I want my $45 back.
This sucks."
I don't think it'll run though. I think it'll be a very novel experience for them.
Yeah. Well, again, like everything else, this is tier 0 that's coming in, and like you said, there's a lot of room for growth and improvement, and possibilities are endless with what they'll do with it. And it's just one facet. But I do like the fact that it is now incorporating, the need for vehicles on the ground, anti-aircraft, all this other stuff that's going to make going to these different bases and stuff, challenging. It's going to be really, really, really interesting. FC, you didn't get to tell us what you thought of it. What did you think of the bomb?
No, that was my thought.
Oh, that was it?
The bombs in space. The bomb,
Oh, that was it?
The sound.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
it.
Okay. All right.
I just want to see somebody drop a bomb in deep space on an Idris and see what happens.
Going up, you were so close to saying it. I was hoping you would say you're something about dropping a bomb on me, but no, you changed at the last second. You were so close.
No, I haven't got to the socks and sandals stage of my life yet. That's hard for me. So,
Do we have any idea if the missile turrets are in addition to, or they're replacing some of the turrets at the?
No, I think it's in addition to, because they said both, that they would have turrets and anti-aircraft missile launchers.
I think they currently have 3 right now, right? There's the one on the building and the 2 on the sides.
No, 5 sometimes,
Yeah, 5,
depending.
yeah.
Sometimes you got 4 around and 1 on top. That's the most that I've ever seen is 5. So they vary. And whatever it is, it's still too easy to get in some of those places. So, they can
I want those
toughen them up.
turrets to be painful.
Yep, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I want it. If you get in range of that, I want you to have 5 seconds to rethink your decision. Your ship is.
I regret my life.
What about?
We warned you to turn back.
Yeah.
Now we
Can
were
missiles
more your
actually
loss.
hit them now though, or is it still like hit or miss?
Say it again.
Missiles, right? Because you can target them. I think as of maybe 2 patches ago, but your missiles may not actually hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that actually more consistent now, or is it just because it'll go and it'll be like a dud?
I
no damage.
don't know.
They work.
Missiles.
They
Did
worked
Jake?
in Xenothreat.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and Fifth Space will tell you he just turned himself into a missile.
Exactly.
Torpedo.
No. Torpedo.
Torpedo, my bad. Torpedo.
There you go. Ramming speed.
Exactly. All right, so let's continue on with this week's ISC.
Before rolling out to other spacecraft that can make use of this potentially devastating new feature. And speaking of the Hercules A2, it's set to arrive in the upcoming Alpha 3.15, so let's go ahead and take the last few minutes of this quarter's last episode to take one more look at what all is making its way to the persistent universe in the patch report. Let's begin right at the very top of the list. Alpha 3.15 is more than just another quarterly patch. When this one drops, it'll be the biggest step yet in realizing that vision of Death of a Spaceman set forth at the very beginning of the crowdfunding campaign. And that begins with everything under the umbrella of Healing Tier 0. It starts with the addition of down states. No longer will every ding and scrape a player gets send them directly to death. These down states allow for and encourage group participation so that players can better keep each other in the fight, picking each other up and pushing forward like it's Black Friday and the store just got 3090s back in stock. And when they are picked up, players may discover new injury states like broken arms and legs that impair their ability to fly or otherwise traverse the universe. And that's where the healing namesake of the feature comes in, with the ability to administer treatment to players and NPCs alike. It'll be a big change to life in the verse, certainly not one that makes life any easier for our spacefaring adventurers. But this challenge and others coming down the road should lead to a more complex and rewarding gameplay experience for all when all is said and done. And speaking of challenging experiences, the new inventory revamp is here! With the death of global inventory and the implementation of local to vehicle to external to personal inventory, the planning, considerations, and ultimately choices we make as players have never been more important or impactful to our gameplay experience. What's my stash like on Hurston? Do I have enough ammo on Microtech to do what I want to do? What planet did I leave my multitude on? Did I leave my keys in here? As with healing, tactical decisions are now coming to the forefront of life in the persistent universe. And between the two, who and what you bring with you becomes the essential question before any new mission or adventure. But two other new features arrive with Alpha 3.15 to help with your inventory needs. The first being the Knickknacks Asset Manager, essential to helping you track and maintain where everything you have in the verse is stashed or located. And Loot Generation, to help when you find yourself alone in the barren wastelands of Hurston or the magnificent desolation of Yila. Loot Generation works with the external inventory system to give players more reward for their increased risk in the field, and it's just one more way Alpha 3.15 looks to reshape daily life in the persistent universe from this point forward. And when we talk about increased risk in the field, we have to include the new Infiltrate and Defend missions, with new tactically based objectives like having to avoid security for completion, or attacking players can't kill any defenders, or classic defend objectives like repel all waves or prevent the destruction of an item or person. These new mission types have a variety of modifiers to keep things fresh, and will continue to evolve beyond their initial implementation in the upcoming Alpha 3.15. Of course, if increased risk in the field isn't your thing, you can take to the skies above in the new Hercules A2 from Crusader Industries. First vehicle of its kind to use the new bombing mechanics showcased earlier to safely deliver death and destruction from far above the chaos below. Plus, the A2 just looks cool when it makes the big boom boom. In 3.15, it joins its C2 and M2 brethren to complete the Hercules line of stunning behemoth monsters from Crusader Industries. Of course, how safe the Hercules might be up in the skies might depend on two additional ships coming later in the Alpha 3.15 branch cycle, including the Ares Starfighter and Redeemer. Whether they attack or defend, they will certainly be looking to bring the pain when they arrive, and we'll be talking more about these two in depth when we get closer to their intended release during Alpha 315's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo event. Outside the Precision universe, or perhaps deep inside in the fictional game within a game, Arena Commander's Broken Moon map is getting a makeover with new tech and features that have come online since the original was first introduced, including a more diverse and expansive map space and an improved scoreboard UI created in building blocks for faster performance and improved maintenance ability going forward. Flash, no, not anymore. Bam, 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 bam. Of course, back in the Persistent universe, let's look at all the new places you'll go in Alpha 315, including the new Crusader showroom on Orizen. Crown jewel showcase of the entire Crusader ship line, it's your one-stop shop for the best-looking spacecraft in the galaxy, where you can pick up the Mercury and Hercules right away, the Ares when it comes online later in Alpha 315, and then one day, my favorite ship in the galaxy, the Genesis Starliner. Someday. Then again, who flies around in stock spaceships? That's where Cousin Crows comes in, also new to Orizen, where players will get the chance to trick out their spacecraft with new components and liveries. Well, we'll talk about what else when we get closer to getting there. But Cousin Crows, welcome to the verse. And in places you may want to avoid going, the variety of hospitals and space clinics arrive in Alpha 315 to put players back together when the worst of the worst occurs. These include new locations on Crusader, Microtech, Grimhex, and a variety of smaller installations and space stations throughout the Stanton system. So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that it's better to be the bomber than the bombee. That hospitals are a nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. Although players like me probably will anyway. And that it can't be said enough, Alpha 315's new healing, inventory, and loot mechanics will make this patch unlike any other that's come before it. Now that's all for our ISC this quarter as we go into prep for our 316 shows, and especially the upcoming Digital CitizenCon on October 9th, where you can join us in once again taking a look at the future of Star Citizen. Check out the recently launched CitizenCon.com for more details. Until then, I'm Jared Huckabee, and we'll see you at CitizenCon.
Alrighty then. I have to address Griffin first. Griffin, I saw you with your look of disappointment. What was going on there? Jared was singing.
Yeah, now just the whole Flash thing was just. Jared was showing his age when he started singing that. I'm like, oh my god, somebody's singing Queen. That's okay, whatever. That's all.
Did you get flashbacks, Griffin? Did you get flashbacks?
Yeah, it was, that's all I can say about it. It was just a flashback back to the 80s, throwback to the 80s. So,
all right, so let's start with Jade. What do you think of the last bit of the second half of ISC? Anything about it too?
Yeah, I'm very happy about the Arena Commander expansion of that Broken Moon map. Mainly because, a lot of people have wanted a bigger player for Arena Commander in general. And it also shows that they haven't abandoned it. Like, a lot of people were saying that Arena Commander and Star Marine were abandoned. Now they haven't abandoned it. So I'm really looking forward to, that much more diverse and large map, and hanging around Tyrannus too. That's the planet you see there. That's in the Tyrannus system. And like you said, that's a game within a game. It's supposed to be like a video game in the Star Citizen universe for new people that don't know. But yeah.
All right. ODG. Where's the emphasis on your name?
ODZ.
Okay. What'd you thought?
Very, very excited. The things I'm looking forward to the most are going to be healing for sure, and the FPS missions. I'm actually kind of wondering what they're going to do with. I think it's when your legs are broken. Are they leaving it as just the prone crawl, or are your legs like not actually going to be functioning when your legs are broken? Because I think it looks a little weird for now.
From what I've heard, it's gonna be prone crawl.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in this patch. I'm actually thinking that since 3.0, this is probably the biggest patch that we've ever had.
Or at least biggest game-changing patch at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff that we're getting. I know people are really cynical these days about patches because, you know, a lot of stuff was getting pushed or stuff like that. But I think this patch is actually really, really solid because first of all, we get a new profession, right? And on top of that, we get a lot of new gameplay mechanics, different ways to play the game. And the fact that they're fleshing out the FPS portion, because I think the FPS portion is probably the least updated. Because I mean, the last time they updated it was when? Maybe Star Marine, right? And that was just the mini game inside the game. But as far as like regular FPS, I don't think they've really touched it. Because we've only had well, actually, wait, that's not true. They added the A90 jump mission and the price of freedom, but that's it pretty much. This, like with the attack and defend or you know escort and stuff, I think is awesome. All we need now are just NPCs planet side, like navigating the actual terrain, and I think FPS will be in a really, really good spot.
ODZ, Raymar just pointed out that Disco just go to somebody on Reddit. Disco said, according to Raymar, said, best to never judge finishing aspects like VFX or SFX by their appearance on ISC. So, he had the point. Like,
no, I mean, is he talking about for the release?
Right.
Or is he talking about, you know?
I think he's talking about the bombing thing because he was just saying, but I don't think he was saying that because they did specify that it was VFX that we were looking at. So like we said earlier, we don't know what the impact is for shock waves and things like that. There wasn't enough there to gauge it.
For force reactions.
We know they're going to do it.
And also, you were asking about what happened with someone with broken legs. My question is, what happened with someone with broken legs and broken arms? What did they do then?
You just lie on the ground, bro.
You know what? There was an interesting conversation about that because I get, there's, and Jade, I know you always mention this about, it's the year 29. This should exist, but then at the same time, we incorporate a lot of stuff that's current. My issue about broken legs was how broken is broken. And I know when I was talking to folks on Captain's Table, I kept saying, but your legs are broke. And people kept saying, well, you can walk on your legs are broke. I said, no, your legs are broke, not fractured, broke. And so somebody came up with maybe the technology is there that they use nanos and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, well, that's feasible. Maybe that's what it is. But I agree with you, Odie, when you're talking about the animation that they have. I'd almost rather that you do an elbow crawl than still be able to be moving your knees, turtling across the thing. And maybe they will do that later. But I am curious about, is broke? Is there something that you can give someone, because once bones are broken, I mean, you can't stand up you can tear your body up doing it, but I'm curious as to how broke is broke. Is broke immobile? That you just can't use your legs? Because like with the arm thing, he tries to pick up the box and he drops it because his arm's broke. Will they be able to give you an injection of something that allows you to do something for 30 seconds? I don't know, but
they probably will.
I don't think it makes sense though for you to get an injection of something that repairs a bone.
Right, that's my point. That's broken, why I said broke is broke. Yeah.
Right. If it's fractured, maybe, right? Because it's still intact. It's just got a crack in it.
Or maybe they'll give you something where they let you throw a splint on somebody's leg. I mean, I just need something to get around being broke. Maybe it's just me, I don't know.
I think what we need is for them to just come out and just tell us, okay, look, so this is the first iteration, and then we're going to go to maybe they'll go like the Tarkov direction and do tourniquets and stuff like that, right?
They build on it,
And then from there, so you can do that for yourself. But then again, would you have carried it? Are you going to be allowed to MacGyver it?
Right.
Like these are questions that I'd like them to answer. I mean, I get it. It's going to improve or whatever. But I would just like to know what we can expect because like Fastcar was just asking, okay, so what if you have, broken legs and maybe one of your arms is broken? Can you crawl with just one arm? I would say sure.
Yeah.
Right. But then I don't know how deep they want to go with animations on that stuff.
Yeah. And how much it takes to make you have a broken arm or a broken limb. You know what I mean? It may take a substantial amount for that to happen in the first place. We may not be as fragile as we are right now. Like you said, there's a lot of variables there until they get it all honed out. You know, we'll just have to kind of go along and see how it goes. You know, because right now, you know, you bump into somebody, they bleed out. You know,
Yeah,
so figure it out.
If you run into them, they die.
Right.
You're right. Griffin, if you get something broken, just put some robot testing and take some castor oil. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and that'll fix it, right? Yeah.
That'll fix it.
Castor oil.
Yeah, castor oil fixes everything. I know.
Windex.
So, Pop, so what are your thoughts about the last half or the last part of it, IST?
There were a few things. Well, there was a thing I didn't know was the gameplay features that they're adding in. I didn't know about. I missed it. Some of the missions that they've added to it. Yeah, I missed that somewhere, but I was glad to see that they're adding more variations to it. And me and my son did talk about this, about the how much they're putting in these patches now to go to iterate that. But I did want to touch back on one thing that Jay did mention a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, is that this game, I mean, the way the game looks, the look of the game is fantastic. And that we do need to let people know when we put out videos, we do need to let people know that this is still an alpha. Because there is so much gameplay in here. People are going to come into this game and they're going to think it is complete. And I just want to kind of mention that again, that we really need to iterate that it's still an alpha, a true alpha.
Fair enough. Spitfire, how about you? What are your thoughts?
You know,
Come on, Spitfire, can't have dead air. Talk.
I was gonna say, it's honestly one of those things that the second half of ISC, I really can't put my finger on what I like the most, because I mean, there's a lot of exciting content. I think one of the biggest things that sticks out to me, just because it's so game changing, is the healing mechanic. Okay, I mean, it brings in effectively a entirely new profession into the game. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, thank you. Admiral Kusanagi, what are your thoughts?
I think, well, I think the whole thing is, doing pretty good. I like the inventory stuff that they're talking about. I thought the video regarding the A2 was a little repetitive, to be honest with you. It was like the same graphics and all that stuff. There was some clipping. If you looked at some of the inventory stuff, they actually had some of the weapons kind of folded upon itself. So there is some bug fixing they need to do there, and it's certainly expectable. So, but it looks like they're working on it, and like Jade said, this looks fantastic here regarding Arena Commander, and they've certainly expanded it. So a lot of people are going to be happy with that. It'd be nice if they work on Star Marine a little bit, and not just TOW.
Same TM.
Mr. Face, what are your thoughts?
I like everything that they're doing. Only thing that I will say though is hopefully, they'll get the AI in the game better, because I don't want the AI to come running at me, full speed right into my gun. It's not fun. You know what I mean? It's just like shooting fish in the barrel.
It could be potentially zombies gameplay. We never
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I don't want Call of Duty. Please, appreciate that. But no, I mean, if everything is great, I just would love to, like I said, do the ground missions. I just wish the AI was a little bit more, more beefier, strategical, things like that. But I know it'll come in due time. So.
Now we're gonna skip Go Map. No, I'm kidding. What are your thoughts, Go Map?
Well, as far as injecting something to heal bones, man, just instead of saying aliens, just say nanites.
Yeah.
We are 1,000 years in the future. That should, maybe there is something that can, deliver, highly targeted calcium deposits in order to fuse those bones back together, at least temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not too far out of the realm of sci-fi possibility. We are, after all, flying spaceships.
But if we had nanites, then we wouldn't need to have any of the medicine.
Well, maybe they have a short half-life. They have a short life. And they can't live very long in biological environments, so they can only live shortly. Once they've been injected, then they die.
Yeah, I like the idea, but the thing is, they're anti-AI, so nanites would have to have AI in them in order to do that.
Right, exactly. Because that's one of the big like moral debates about something like nanites, is that if you create something like that, you may have heard of the gray goo scenario, where you end up having runaway nanites that just melt down the entire planet into gray goo, right? So you think in the Star Citizen universe, it's averse to even self-driving cars, right? I doubt they would want to have nanites crawling all through your body, potentially, melting you down. But I'm all for it, GoMap. I just think that the lore's got to be consistent. So they'd have to shoehorn it in somehow. We elected Addison for a reason. So yeah, bring it on.
Y'all ain't old school enough. Go get us a twig, put it on the side of your leg, and wrap it up and stand up and walk. That's all you got to do.
Are you saying you're an old school spaceship pilot?
Old Boy Scout stuff. No, I'm having fun. I'm having fun with it. Again, I'm just curious how they're going to rectify that, because I would love to see them do it. I just don't know, like you said, the arguments about nanites and technology.
It could just be drugs that are targeted that speed up the the bone regeneration.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, they could come up with something. I get what you're saying.
Actually, GoMap, your first suggestion is actually the correct one. You were saying don't say it's aliens, but it would have to be aliens, right?
It could be alien technology. I mean, we can regenerate
right? So I think that'll probably be the most, I guess, logically consistent and lore.
Then it'd be illegal. Then it'd be illegal.
But why? We're already using it for regeneration, right? So might as well be like, we steal something else from the Vandul and be like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, don't they have skeleton? So,
maybe the Banu will find something that you could buy from them. Who knows, right? Some exotic something that you could use.
That's how you end up in slavery, owing those bills.
There's an explanation for it, I think.
What was that?
I think that there's definitely an explanation for it, and again, I always go back to we are 1,000 years in the future. I think they should, a broken leg should be a relatively easily solvable problem.
Going back, the problem is, you say 1,000. We're only 930 years in the future. We need another 70 years to develop that other stuff.
I'm rounding and I'm standing by it.
Okay.
So I think that we got everyone. So Griffin, what are your thoughts?
No, only thing I want to say is what I said a few weeks ago. The Ion and the Inferno are beautiful. The swing arounds they did of those ships, they just are beautiful. They look really, really good. The Crusader design on them. I love that airfoil in the front, or the vector thing in the front. They're just beautiful ships. I don't own one, but my God, they look great. The Redeemer looks great too. It's gotten a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier, a little bit looks more tankier. But I'm really impressed with the But I'm really impressed with the Ares and the Ion. Both of those are beautiful. I can't wait to see them in game.
My thoughts were, I like the Knickknack app. I'm looking forward to using that to address my inventory. New mission type. I think that would be great. I'm really looking forward to the extension of the Broken Moon map, and hopefully they'll do the the Dying Star map too. So, but did anyone notice that Starliner had a new look? I don't know if that was the whole ship or just the cockpit of the ship. Yeah, but I think that was just the cockpit, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's not the Starliner.
That's not the Starliner. No, that's the demonstration thing that's in the store.
They're just demonstrating the Hercules, I believe,
for the Hercules, right?
The Starliner is probably going to be the best looking Crusader ship for sure.
I think what a lot of people got confused about that, though, is the fact that when he said And my favorite ship, the Starliner, and he showed that
Yeah.
display.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Jared always talks about it whenever he goes back to Crusader. That's what he's looking forward to.
This is the thing. Okay, so this is the what again?
Hercules. At least that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Okay.
They showed it a couple of weeks ago when they were showing it as a display model where it opens up and you can see how it's made. It's in the building where you can buy the ships at. That's what that's going to be.
And I didn't notice that they were reusing footage that they used the past month or so. They kind of crammed it all into this ISC. So you could tell that they're trying to save information now, save video now for the CitizenCon. So
1 week to go.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, 1 week to go. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So next up is the machinima.
Yeah. You guys remember a couple of weeks ago? Last week we watched an episode called Adrift. Everybody really liked it, and remember there was one the week before that everybody liked too. This is the part 2 to that one. Just to give you a little, for those of you who were there, or a refresher. Remember, this is the one where the woman was sent out as a bounty hunter to kill the guy at the junkyard, and she ended up getting killed. So this picks up from there. They're going to do a little bit of a recap of it at the beginning, but we really enjoyed that. This one is done by, I keep forgetting the name of the company. It was Elite
Expeditionary.
Elite Expeditionary.
Get my popcorn.
Well, you better hurry up and go get your popcorn, Pops. We can't wait. But they did a really, really great job on this, and we really enjoyed part 1. And there are 3 parts to this already out. So we're going to watch part 2 tonight. So again, hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll give our commentary after it's over.
Oh shit!
My turn.
Rise and shine, Sam.
Yeah. Easy for you to say. You and Pops are the coffee people. The morning people.
Coffee, yes. Mornings, no.
Ah, how'd you survive the military then?
That's what alcohol's for. What's it like being the laziest one in the family?
What's it like being adopted?
It's great. Why, is there something wrong with that? Huh? Huh?
I don't know! You tell me!
Little shit. Morning. I'd like to purchase 2 cases of coffee. The stronger the better.
No coffee in stock, sorry.
Seriously?
Let me check. Yep, nothing there.
Dude, coffee is a necessity out here. How can you not have any in stock?
Let me check one more spot. Yep, still out.
Unfucking believable.
Let me look somewhere else. Yep. All out, sorry.
Well, Pop, I got good news and I got bad news. What do you want first?
Bad news.
Dickhead in there doesn't keep his coffee stocked. We're bone dry.
What's the good news?
The hand mining batteries are fully charged and ready to go.
That's my girl. Might need your help killing that guy later, though.
Gladly.
Ladies and gentlemen, please close your tray tables and move your seats to their upright and locked positions. Might be a bumpy ride out to the mines today.
Or it may just be the way you fly.
Ah, you're just jealous. I'm the only one smart enough to do this part of the job.
Yeah? Let's see what my handgun has to say about that.
Don't waste the bullet, Pop.
Yeah, go ahead. Kill me. And then we all die.
I'm not gonna kill you. Yet.
Ah, nice. Flaps are set. Gear coming down. On final approach and looking good. Easy does it, and smooth as a baby's bottom. Welcome to the pits, folks.
If you need help killing Sam too, I'm all in.
Nah, I'm too lazy to fly.
No kidding. I think he forgets we both have some flight training from our army days.
That's top secret, remember?
There's only one, brother. Ah, he's down. Now we will wait for a response.
If I wasn't so damn old and my knees weren't shit, I'd do it all over again.
I don't know. Getting shot at gets old.
Doing this job makes me want to shoot myself sometimes.
Dad, not funny.
I'm just kidding. As much as I miss it, I wouldn't change getting to spend so much time with my kids, even though you drive me crazy sometimes.
Perhaps the others are in the mine.
I call dibs on them, brother.
I echo your sentiments, brother. I sense great gifts are upon us this day.
Praise be, brother.
Praise be! Yeah.
You alright, hun?
Yeah. Just a little out of breath.
Turn your O2 up another notch. We're pretty deep this time.
Nah, I'm okay. Gonna see if I can climb up.
Just be careful. Don't go faint on me now. The hell is that?
Must be Sam screwing around.
Gotta be.
How can this be? Who flies such an empty vessel?
Perhaps they were on their way somewhere else, brother.
Perhaps they are fools.
Shall we enter the mines and flush them out, brother?
No, brother. Wait outside the entrance while I search this vessel further.
Yes, brother. We may still be bountiful on this day.
Since when the hell is there a wall here?
We're lost. Aren't we?
Lost? Nah, just directionally challenged.
Nice. I'm just starting to catch my breath. You mind helping me with this pack, Dad? Dad?
I don't want no trouble. Ain't nothing going down here but a peaceful walk away.
Tell us how many are left, and we may spare your life. If you're lucky.
It's just me and my pilot. He's my son. Where is he?
Pity. He's off taking a dirt nap as we speak.
You motherfucker! The hell you do with him?
Here, let me show you.
This one was a bust, brother. Nothing here but an empty ship and empty mines.
Let us depart towards the west. We'll scavenge among the wreckage in Freer's Breaker Yard.
No! No! I'm going to run you down!
Good morning. I hope I'm not intruding. I'm really sorry about what happened. Your old man and me, we go way back. We deployed in combat together against a vandal out in Pyro. He was a good man. Judging from your records, you know all about what I'm talking about. Combat, living life by the sword.
The hell do you want from me?
The name's Nate, and I'm the commander of a paramilitary contract group called Elite Expeditionary.
Good for you. Now get lost.
Those guys that killed your family? They're called Dusters, and they've been terrorizing miners and traders on these moons for years. One of our new contracts calls for us to start helping eradicate those assholes for good. And I think you'd be a perfect candidate for that team.
I'm not interested.
Look, you might not share the same blood as your old man, but I know a legacy when I see one. You want to break rocks the rest of your life, fine. We got a support element with some of the best miners in Stanton that does just that. But you want to break skulls? I'll leave my card with the nurse. Give me a call when you're ready to get back out there and kick some ass. Either way, we've got your back, Ava. Anytime, anywhere.
Alrighty then. That was pretty good. Let's go start with GoMab. What are your thoughts?
And that was like a very sad origin story. But the actual story was well done. I tell you, this machinima stuff, folks are just getting better and better with it. I am significantly impressed.
Okay, let's go in reverse order. Face to face. What are your thoughts?
I have to agree with GoMab. You know, it's amazing. You know, I mean, the game is like I said, still in alpha, but people are good at doing what they do with scripts and voice acting and all of that stuff. Just want to see them keep going.
Or myself, Kusanagi. What are your thoughts?
I have to, agree with what we were talking about, like the way the direction is. It just kind of reminds me of what's the Death Wish? Death Wish, and I think Jodie Foster had a movie as well similar to that, where her husband gets killed, and kind of like her intro and into it, into not necessarily getting revenge, but kind of like looking for people that looks like they need to be taken care of. This is kind of has that feeling to it, because she doesn't want to work with this group. She just wants to kind of do her own thing. So we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah. Oh, can I
Yeah,
jump
like
in
we
real
haven't
quick?
said, there's another episode out, so stay tuned. Spitfire. What are your thoughts?
A great machinima. I have to admit, I echo. I think it was Digbat's sentiment of I love the voices of the Dusters. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Dig, and just Dig. Just to your point, Dig. We covered Adrift last week. You're late. You're a week late, buddy. But we talked about that one last week, and we watched part 1 of this 2 weeks ago. So we're kind of following up on the series.
All right, Captain Face. What are your thoughts?
It was good. It was good. Only one thing sticks out to me when he said the ship was empty, but then he was going to search the empty ship. That was the only thing.
Maybe they weren't tall enough to look into the cockpit.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's possible. I wanted to say that. I just remembered. It was kind of funny though when they had my man, the NPC kept looking for coffee, and he was looking. He was like, "There's nothing here, nothing there." I'm like, "You're looking in the same spot."
Yeah, two different spots, but he looked like 4 times, right? Yeah.
Right. I'm like, okay.
Yep, all out. DG, what do you thought? Oh, well, you finished, Pop? Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, just the yeah.
Okay.
And I was gonna mention the coffee. Worst looking coffee joint I ever seen, but
DG, how about you?
I thought it was good. I would have to say I like the first one a little bit better, but as people have said, like it's actually very sad considering that we already know that the protagonist is already dead, right? And then it's such a morbid, like beginning as well. She lost her whole family, and now she's dead too. So I don't know.
Well, wait a minute.
I don't know
Hold
where
up.
they're
We
going to
don't
take
know
it.
that she's dead. We don't know that she's dead, though.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kind of like Game of Thrones. If you don't see the head get cut off, right?
So
We
I
don't
guess
know.
we can hope for plot armor of
Yeah.
stormtrooper type aim with 3 Gatlings from a ship.
Wait a minute, I'm confused now.
One can hope. One can
Is
hope,
this
right?
this is they aren't related to the one we saw with the mole like flies away and she gets
That
tossed
was
into
a different
space.
one.
No. That was a drift. That was last week. In the first chapter of this, we saw this where she was called by the guy that was speaking to her at the end to take on a job, and she goes as a sniper to take out somebody, and she isn't able to kill both of them. And the guy, which is what this one opened up with, was him killing her. She was dead. Remember, they sent a team out to find her, and
they
she
did?
was
Okay.
dead. Yes. Dead.
Oh, so this is
when
the
they found
first
her.
part of that?
No, this is part 2 to that. When this started at the beginning, it said 5 years earlier.
Oh,
yes.
Well, wait a minute, Griff. Did they pronounce it that? Because remember, we're in the 30th century,
dude, she was out there
and we
all
got-
night. They found her the next day. Remember,
we
they
got
sent a whole
nanites.
team to find her. Nanites.
We just discussed nanites, didn't we?
Okay, touche. Okay.
So these are like necromancy type.
Right,
nanites,
necromancy.
right? Okay, I got you. Okay,
right,
it makes sense.
Jade.
It makes sense if you create magic,
Just saying.
Go ahead, Jade.
I was going to say it will be interesting to see once some of these machinima creators start to embrace the new lore around respawning and the Ibrahim sphere and things like that.
I can see that.
But yeah, as far as the machinima itself, like I said about the part 1, it's amazing. And like with Adrift last week, both of these crews of people, they could submit this and probably get an award for a sci-fi short. It's that good. The writing, the acting, everything. Go ahead.
Jay, to your point, do we actually know what year these are done in? Because if it's before we had like the technology, because isn't it only been like 2 years or a year, right? Because it was last year that they got the tech, and then Addison comes into office this year, and then she spreads it out. So they may not even have access to it.
That's a
Yeah.
very good point. We don't know that it doesn't say like the year at the beginning of these, so we don't know.
We do know it was 5 years ago, so
I'm sorry, Gomab. She's actually dead. No Ibram Spirit to regenerate her. I'm sorry. No nanites.
Oh, that was Fist. That was Fist. Yeah.
Oh, that was
Fist
Fist.
the nanites. Yeah.
But it's Gomab's idea, though.
Oh, it's the nanites.
I was for fixing a broken bone, not raising a zombie. You maniacs.
I did want to make one point. Somebody said, "Well, the protagonist is dead." I think she's the protagonist.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
what I'm saying. She's okay. No, I won't spoil it.
No. I was going to say I'm curious to see where this goes because
That's
of
my
what we
question.
saw happen. Because there is a part 3, and evidently it is going somewhere. We did see them go retrieve her body. Now maybe she is the $6 million woman. I don't know. We'll find out in chapter 3 when we run that. What I liked about this. What first?
I was gonna say with the rate of inflation, she got to be $6 trillion. What were you gonna say, Griff?
What I did like about this is I'm loving the fact that people are utilizing other vehicles that we haven't seen in a lot of stuff. A lot of times things are combat related, but they decided to break out the Max. They broke out a Nox. They broke out the Yellow Jacket. which was kind of cool to see. Of course, bringing back the old Halloween mask was kind of cool to see. But I love the cinematography of the ships moving around in this, particularly when the Max took off and was departing from the base. The third person perspective that they did on it was really, really cool. Just like even watching the bikes here, you don't get that thing of the bikes. You did get the feeling of speed, and the way they shot the brother who was on the bike when he's trying to get vengeance for the death of his brother was pretty cool. And using the freelancer's gun turret, as a way to fight back, which I thought, because most of the time folks want to go get a rail gun or something. But I love the fact that they did that. So yeah, I like the fact that there's a lot of new things that we're seeing in here. And of course, using the Carrack. I think that's the Carrack, right? At the end that she's sitting in. Yeah, which is kind of a nice scene there.
Logo there.
Hey guys, I figured it out. So what they do is they hold off on part 3 till we get 315, and then when they picked her up, that was just like medevac. Okay, she was in the down state. Okay,
the down state, yeah.
And then
See, that's what I'm
she's gonna regenerate in 315, but they'd have to wait like maybe 2 months. I don't know.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's maybe okay. Maybe
so we need to
right.
tell them, hey guys, don't release the part that you guys already had.
They made it imprint.
Yeah, they already had.
Yeah, Reese. There's a new part.
Well, we'll find out in part 3. Maybe they decided to use the old idea of the cloning. We'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I had to take from Ra and say, maybe this might be kind of the technology of altered carbine.
Oh God! Don't bring up any more altered carbon, please.
That's actually what it is, right? It's pretty close to.
I know it's
the
close.
first season of Altered
Yeah.
Carbon was great, though. The first season was great.
Wait, Griff, do you not like Altered Carbon?
No, I do. Okay. It's just that I keep hearing that every time we talk about this, and it's like I hear about Altered Carbon one more time. But I get it. I get it.
It's like when we have
I get it.
Newtonian flight physics, people say it's like The Expanse.
Right.
You know?
I get it.
I say
get
no.
it.
I say it's like Babylon 5. Babylon 5 had it first.
Oh, how is it like Babylon 5?
Newtonian physics. They
Oh, I
had
thought you were talking
Newtonian
about
physics in
thing
Babylon
about
5.
medical gameplay.
No. Newtonian physics. Anyway, my thought it was, yep, the all out. The coffee scene was funny. I enjoyed the coffee scene, and I'm like, what kind of place don't stock coffee? That's like medicine, medicine and coffee. You need both of those. The other thing was, he got on that knock pretty quick after his brother died. We didn't see him hop on, but it was like 1 second he was off, next second he was on. I'm like, what? Did we miss something? I want to get on a bike that fast. So
Somebody's shooting at you. You will trust me.
And they said they're going to introduce those quick access animations.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, but those are my thoughts. I liked it. The music was kind of subdued in this one, so I didn't really catch the music in this one. But someone said in chat that the music was pretty good.
It was. It was more like very ethereal, a lot of tension building over time. Just kind of like you said in the background, not too out in the front.
Yeah.
It built toward the end, like Jade said. So I said they did a good job. So we got part 3 coming up, and we'll do that next week or the week after. So we'll
maybe we
follow up
should
with
send them our notes first.
Send them our notes.
Yes.
Yeah,
We should
for
send them
part
our
4.
notes first and see what they think.
Yeah.
But my last critique is the main protagonist, the female, and the brother. Great voice acting. The only one I wasn't too enthused with was the father, because it felt like he was reading from the scripts, But the other two were just talking like naturally, So if he could just I don't know if he has to memorize the lines or whatever, but yeah.
I know when we talked about Adrift last week, we commented about the father-daughter relationship, and there came across really good. The dialogue.
It was no more natural.
It felt like really, really natural. But again, like everyone has said, this is an outstanding job, especially if we've seen over the years how machinima has been building in Star Citizen, and now, like Jade said, this is getting to be award-winning stuff that these guys they're putting out really a lot of time into this stuff too, because it's not just about the visuals. The scripts are good. The voice actors are good. I mean, they're really, really putting it in. It's really nice.
It's saying something that we are not nitpicking or criticizing, but kind of nitpicking the way the voice acting is, because it's like this is like theater quality or like Hollywood quality stuff that we're seeing. So the fact that something like that stands out to us just shows how great the quality is overall for these cinemas.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it's come
actually
a
their
long
own
way.
fault.
Yeah, it has.
The bar keeps
They
getting
raised the
raised.
bar
Yeah.
themselves, so yeah.
I kind of jump in on the relationship, the talking between the father and the girl in this one. That could be easily remedied with editing.
Yeah, but mind you, we're not trying to fix it. I think he's just making an observation of that. Out of the three voices, the stronger ones were the brother and sister. The dad just didn't feel like it necessarily came to the same level. And I was just comparing it to last week because I think you or somebody, we commented about how well that relationship between father and daughter was in Adrift.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
you could
very,
feel
very,
it.
very natural. Yeah.
Mhm.
If any of you had any acting classes, it's the difference between acting a character and being the character.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, it's good stuff. All right. Well, glad you guys enjoyed it. We do have a viewer question that goes to the panel from 4 days ago. And I don't know why someone put it in 4 days ago after the show was over with, I think.
It was during the show.
Oh, this was the one we forgot. Yeah. Should we ask it or should we save it? What do you think?
Go ahead and ask.
Well, he's not here. He's not here right now. Yeah, why don't we save it for Sunday? We'll say he'll probably be here Sunday because he's doing his show tomorrow. Well, it's something that Kai sent in, so we'll do it on Sunday. Okay, we'll do it on Sunday while he's here. Okay, that's all I've got. Fast Card, you got anything else? What else we got? We remind everybody about the Bar Citizen. Don't forget to RSVP for that. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything else about it. Go ahead, Fast Card. Whatever you want to say.
No, I'll put the link in. But the Bar Citizen, and on Sunday we're doing a show on a slice of CitizenCon. We're gonna have Abdi Johan, Griffin, Colossal, and Space Tomato as guests. So that'll be 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight UTC. So check us out for that. Anything you want to say about that one, Griffin?
Yeah, we're just kind of doing a reflection on CitizenCons and what we may think about this particular one coming up. So we've got some ideas of things and some hints that CIG has given us about this CitizenCon coming up. So hope you all can join us on Sunday.
I just want to remind everybody that to please, follow or subscribe, and it helps us out a lot. And overall, we just glad you showed up tonight, and appreciate your time.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you there, Admiral.
Thank you. And don't forget to check us out on social media: Twitter, YouTube, we're already on Twitch. SoundCloud also, if you just want to check the audio version. And we also sell merch. We sell gamepad, mugs, t-shirts, and hats. I remember the hat.
And hats.
So you want to further support it, you can do that for us. Thank you.
Fast Card also does tours around Boston. If you ever go to Boston, he will. Those are.
Sure, why not?
Just let him know.
Make sure you wear a mask. Make sure you wear a mask.
All right. Thank everybody who's been on this show tonight. We appreciate all of our guests because this time is going to fly out. Fist to Face, GoMab, Jade, ODZ, Pops in Space, Spitfire, and Uri, who was here also, but he said he had to leave. And we appreciate all of you all hanging out with us tonight. Sign us off, Fast Card.
I just want to say, one day not simply quantum to Tamza. So I just also want to say peace, loving soul.